Number 1. Subliminal messaging. Subliminal messaging involves planting hidden stimuli below the threshold of conscious perception. These subtle cues, like fleeting images, low-volume audio, or hidden text, can bypass your rational brain and directly influence your subconscious. For instance, flashing "buy now" in a commercial for just a millisecond can trigger an impulse to purchase without you realizing why. Subliminal techniques are used in advertising, music, and even political media. Though we don't consciously notice them, our brains register these inputs, potentially shaping our decisions, moods, and behavior without consent. Number 2. Repetition, the illusion of truth. The human brain tends to believe information that's repeated, regardless of its accuracy, a phenomenon known as the illusory truth effect. When we hear a claim over and over again, it begins to feel familiar and thus believable. This tactic is used by media outlets, politicians, influencers, and propaganda campaigns. Even if a statement is blatantly false, repetition can override skepticism. Over time, repeated ideas get cemented in memory and accepted as truth, influencing beliefs and opinions with little regard for actual evidence or logic. Number 3. Fear-based conditioning. Fear hijacks the brain's logical processes by activating the amygdala, our emotional response center. When we're in a state of fear, we default to survival mode, fight, flight, or freeze. This makes us more compliant, less critical, and easily led. News headlines often exploit this by promoting alarming stories that keep viewers on edge. Constant exposure to fear trains the brain to react emotionally, not rationally. Over time, people become desensitized yet hypervigilant, creating a loop where fear is both addictive and paralyzing. Number 4. Social proof. Humans are social creatures who often determine what's correct based on others' behaviors. This is known as social proof. When enough people believe or do something, your brain assumes it's valid. It's the psychological force behind viral trends, cult formations, and mob mentality. Seeing others approve, follow, or adopt an idea triggers an unconscious belief that it must be right. Social proof is used in marketing, best-selling, trending now, politics, and social media, guiding your decisions and beliefs through sheer perceived consensus. Number 5. Reward systems, dopamine loops. Apps, games, and platforms are carefully designed to trigger dopamine releases in your brain. Each like, comment, or level up activates your brain's reward center, reinforcing the behavior. These dopamine spikes train the brain to seek short-term gratification repeatedly, creating a feedback loop. Over time, this rewires your attention span, lowers your tolerance for boredom, and reduces your ability to focus on long-term goals. The result? You become addicted to instant rewards, endlessly scrolling, clicking, and chasing tiny hits of brain chemistry pleasure. Number 6. Authority bias. Authority bias makes people more likely to trust or obey someone who appears to be in a position of power. This could be a doctor, a politician, a uniformed officer, or even someone who speaks confidently. The Milgram experiment famously demonstrated this. Participants administered what they believed were fatal shocks to others, simply because an authoritative figure instructed them to. Your brain often shortcuts critical thinking when a perceived expert speaks, making you more susceptible to manipulation if the authority is dishonest or misguided. Number 7. Priming. Priming is a subconscious influence where exposure to one stimulus affects how you respond to another. If you hear the word elderly before a walk, you may physically slow down without realizing it. This subtle influence affects memory, judgment, and behavior. Marketers use priming by exposing consumers to certain colors, words, or sounds that align with the product's mood. Even a slight change in wording or imagery can shift your emotions and decisions. It's an invisible hand nudging your mind without permission. Number 8. Anchoring. Anchoring is a mental shortcut where people rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered. If you see a luxury watch priced at $2,000, A $500 watch suddenly feels like a bargain, even if it's overpriced. Anchoring skews your perception of value, influencing decisions in sales, negotiations, and marketing. Once an anchor is planted, all future judgments are subconsciously compared to it. This trick is used to shape your expectations, control your sense of cost or fairness, and subtly guide your choices. Number 9. Framing. Framing refers to how the same information can lead to different interpretations depending on how it's presented. Saying 90% survival rate sounds reassuring, while 10% death rate feels terrifying, even though both mean the same thing. This manipulation of perception is used in media, politics, health campaigns, and advertising. Your brain reacts not just to facts, but to their emotional tone. A slight change in phrasing can steer decisions, trigger emotional responses, and even alter your risk assessments without changing the core message. Number 10. Trauma programming. Severe emotional or psychological trauma can open the mind to deep reprogramming. Under extreme stress or pain, the brain becomes malleable, forming powerful subconscious associations. This is exploited in cults, military training, and, allegedly, black ops programs like MKUltra. Trauma can fracture identity, suppress memory, and create mental scripts that bypass logic. When used maliciously, trauma programming enables manipulation at the deepest psychological levels, creating compliant behavior, altered personalities, or even dissociative states, all without the individual fully understanding what's happening to them. Number 11. Mirror neurons and mimicry. Your brain is wired to mimic what it sees, thanks to mirror neurons. When someone smiles, you tend to smile back. When you see someone panic, your body may tense up too. This mechanism spreads not just gestures, but moods, thoughts, and behaviors. It's why hanging out with high performers can elevate your mindset, and why toxic environments drag you down. Social media amplifies this effect, flooding your brain with exaggerated emotions and curated personas, subtly altering your self-image, beliefs, and emotions. Number 12. Hypnosis, trance states. When your focus narrows, like during meditation, deep reading, or even a TikTok binge, you enter a trance-like state. In this mode, your brain becomes more open to suggestion. Hypnosis leverages this mental vulnerability to implant ideas or shift behaviors. Advertisers and charismatic speakers often guide people into light trances using rhythm, storytelling, or repetition. In a hypnotic state, your conscious filters weaken, allowing subconscious influence to take over. Even seemingly harmless digital scrolling can become a trance that reshapes your desires and thoughts. Number 13. Sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired, it breaks down your mental defenses. When you're low on rest, your brain becomes less logical and more emotionally reactive. Decision-making, impulse control, and memory all suffer. This vulnerability is exploited. In high-stress jobs, manipulative relationships, cults, and even interrogations, chronically tired individuals are easier to persuade, control, or deceive because they lack the energy to critically evaluate information. Even mild sleep loss can distort reality, making you more susceptible to emotional appeals and misleading narratives. Number 14. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. NLP uses specific language patterns to bypass your conscious mind and speak directly to your subconscious. Charismatic leaders, motivational speakers, and skilled salespeople use tone, pacing, and phrasing to subtly guide your thoughts and decisions. For example, embedding commands within casual speech can make you feel like an idea was yours. NLP isn't magic, but it's powerful, especially when used repeatedly. When someone mirrors your speech, anchors emotions to keywords, or uses double binds, they can influence you without triggering resistance. Number 15. Echo chambers. Echo chambers form when algorithms and social structures surround you with only the opinions, news, and content that confirm your existing beliefs. Over time, this reinforces certainty, filters out opposing viewpoints, and radicalizes your thinking. Social media platforms are particularly guilty, feeding users a loop of tailored information that narrows perspective. Eventually, your reality becomes distorted, making other perspectives feel wrong or threatening. This cognitive isolation increases polarization, stifles growth, and makes the mind easier to manipulate through targeted narratives. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.